With Mr. Richard Deem and Eileen Patton. And just to briefly reiterate the rules of the road again, what we're going to do is ask each candidate to begin, make a 2-minute opening statement, and then what will happen again, we will take questions from the audience. Again, please make those questions written. Please print them legibly so our screeners can read them. And then each candidate will get a minute to answer the question. And then after the question and answer period, you will get an opportunity then to make a brief 1-minute closing statement. So, without further delay, can we please begin with Ms. Patton for the 2-minute opening statement?
When I was elected mayor in 2000, I had a vision for the future of Fairview Park. I knew if this city was to prosper, it needed to be reinvented. Over the last 12 years, the results have been unprecedented with regards to economic revitalization, which I believe is the key to success. Since 2000, demolition and new construction has taken over our city landscape. Major business investment alone has amounted to more than $79 million in brick and mortar and $804,000 in income tax receipts annually. During the most difficult economic times this country has seen in decades, we opened a total of 165 new businesses in Fairview Park. $8 million has been invested on sewer improvements, and we have a solid plan in action addressing flooded areas. We saw major renovations of Vulcan and Morton Park and the construction of the Gemini Center. As we continue to work with the federal government to refill our biggest employer at the two NASA buildings, we have kept this city financially stable in these most difficult days. Working with our residents and our city unions, we had no layoffs of our police and fire, and we received the Certificate of Achievement for Excellence in Financial Reporting, the highest standards in government accounting. Exciting things are happening. $18 million will be invested in new construction, including a nursing and assisted living facility, bank building on the old Cleveland Motel land, and a new specialty grocery store. The end result is this. This city looks nothing like the town that existed 12 years ago, with its blighted motels, limited opportunities, failing school levies, and good residents moving away. We can never go back to those days again. We can, under my proven performance, go forward to an even greater achievement as our potential is unlimited.
Thank you, Mr. Deem.
My name is Richard Deem, and I'm a candidate to be your mayor. I'd like to thank the League of Women Voters for inviting me here, and I'd like to thank all of you for coming. I've been a 29-year member of the Fairview Park Police Department. In that time, for 14 years, I was the second in command. I've been a 26-year resident. My wife and I moved here back in 1984. We have a 22-year-old daughter who currently is going after her master's degree in accounting. I'm a graduate of Baldwin Wallace High School, Baldwin Wallace College from 1981. As many of the council persons up here before talked about, finances are a major issue. One of our first imperatives is going to be for a complete and full audit of the city books. Secondly, economic development. That's the second issue that everybody's talked about. As cited in the 1999 master plan, we want to partner with the Community Development Corporation under a 501c3, which is professional developers. And if you want to see an example of that, all you have to do is drive across the Lorraine Road Bridge into Camps Corners and take a look at what's going on in Camps Corners, what they've turned around in the last 3 years. Finally, sewers. We all know sewers are a huge issue. As I've been walking the streets and talking with people, I've talked to residents who are ready to walk away from their mortgages and just shut the door on their homes. I talked to a gentleman who basically built his own sewer, attached it to Co-Ditch, because and attached it to his third sump pump in his basement. I've talked to another gentleman who's had 20 floods in the past 5 years. Sewers are a huge issue. We need to address that, and that's one of our agendas on the upcoming election.
Thank you, Mr. Deem. Now we'll begin with our questions. And if we could begin with you, Mr. Deem. As mayor, how do you perceive the chances of the NASA buildings being turned over to viable tax-paying entities?
I don't think NASA's coming back. I don't think they want the buildings. I think they've been turned over to the GSA already. It's going to take, I don't know what kind of shape those buildings are in, but I know they have to be abated. They're full of asbestos. It's going to be a very expensive proposition. That's probably one of those situations where we may have to do collaboration with another city in order to purchase those. I know that there's been no bid placed on that property. Right now, it's sitting there waiting to happen.
Thank you, Ms. Patton.
Yes, thank you very much. It's public knowledge that NASA does not own the two NASA buildings on Brook Park Road. They have been turned over to the GSA, and through our efforts here in the city of Fairview Park, not a day goes by that we're not working with an outside entity to make this sale happen. We are closer than we ever have before as we turn these buildings over to a private developer to backfill them with viable, excellent employees so we can have that area of our city be one of the biggest taxpayers again. And our efforts will continue on a daily basis until this happens. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Patton, what are your plans for the Fairview Park Senior Center? Do you value the work done there?
The Fairview Park Senior Center is one of the gems of our community. I'll never forget the day that it opened. It was July 5th, 2000. And it is full of the most wonderful people in the world that are always willing to give back. It has programs in there that are for your body, mind, and your soul. And it's a place for people where all their families have moved away. We have a computer class in there where all of the seniors have learned to email their grandchildren that are away at college. It is a beautiful center. Our plans are to do nothing because nothing's going to happen over there. It's going to stay the same. And it is definitely a treasure. Our senior life director is here tonight along with her assistant, and a lot of our seniors are here, and we're very, very glad to be able to have a senior center where so many of them call that their second home.
Thank you, Mr. Deem.
Senior Center is a very important asset to this city. As the son of a 91-year-old mom, and my wife is the daughter of a 90-year-old mother, both of whom are looking at nursing homes in the near future. Senior centers are very important to them. Both of them are widowers, and they really need, they both live in Parma, but they really do rely on the services of the senior center. What we would like to do also is enhance the programs a little bit and promote the Silver Sneakers program, by which seniors can join the rec center for free, and they can use any rec center in the country. As a member, they can use any rec center in the country, either Medicare or possibly their hospitalization will cover that. There's no plans to close the senior center, and we may look at doing a little bit more at the rec center also for the seniors.
I would like to answer that though and make a correction. On September 12th of this year, we proudly announced the Silver Sneakers program to many of our seniors, and they're very, very glad that we have it.
Thank you both. And Mr. Deem, would you be willing to put a representative from the school board on the abatement board?
A member of the school board on the abatement, of course.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Ms. Patton?
Absolutely. The abatement board is called the CRA, Community Reinvestment Area Housing Council. And when a new developer comes into town, we have, through the Ohio Revised Code, tax abatement, 7 years up to 100%. And this committee is made up of selected people from organizations to review them all. And we would certainly welcome a school board member on that committee.
Thank you. As I indicated earlier, some questions are directed at a specific candidate, but both candidates may answer also. We may combine some questions. We were hearing a lot of talk about the issue of the sewers. One question referenced Carl Cub's master plan, stating that 1/3 of the wastewater and stormwater collection lines are in poor or critical conditions. The question for Mayor Patton is, what is the concrete plan for sewers as referenced in your letter to residents dated September 20th, 2011? And are copies of the plan available for residents?
Absolutely. We have, as you know, across America this year, flooding has happened everywhere, especially in northeastern Ohio. 5 massive floods have come to our community this year. And it's a very difficult problem. That's no secret. We've had many meetings I've gone to homes, we've had emails, we've had letters. We keep the communication open on what's going on. And over at the council meetings, I hear residents stand up and they're angry. And they say, my home's flooded for 50 years. My home's flooded for 70 years. Well, when I became mayor 12 years ago, this room was full of those type of people. And our plan calls for street by street, neighborhood by neighborhood, to make sure that we address these problems. And we're doing that. There was one area that we collaborated with the city of Rocky River, and were able to put in a joint application and had that repaired over in the Worcester Road area that took care of many, many homes over in that area. And that is our plan that we're going to do. Right now, we're working in three different areas, down in the Ward 5 area and in the Ward 4 area. A company's been hired, they've come in, they've cleaned, they've dye tested, they've grouted, and that's what we're doing, street by street, neighborhood by neighborhood. It is a concrete plan, and we will not waver from this plan until all the sewers in our community are fixed and repaired.
Thank you. Mr. Deem?
Sewers have been an issue. When I started in the police department in 1981, sewers were an issue then. They still remain to be an issue now. Coe Creek has not been cleaned out for quite some time.
It's not true.
We've taken pictures of it, and there's a lot of debris and trees in Coe Creek. I think that's one of the initiatives that we have to undertake. We have to get down into Coe Creek and dredge that out. I think we have to start looking at probably retention basins. My mother lives in Parma. I grew up across from Forestwood Park. They actually cleaned off all the baseball fields for Forestwood Park, dug a multi-million-gallon tank underneath Forestwood Park and capped it and put the baseball fields back on. I think that's what we're kind of looking at, because when the volume of water is such that it starts backing up into your basement is essentially a retention basin. Water has to go somewhere. A stopgap measure is the backflow valves, which stops water from coming back into your house. However, the more people that do that, water still has to go somewhere. And eventually that's going to cause other problems, possibly further down, a few years down the road, but it's still, I think the solution is going to be retention basins, and admittedly, they cost a lot of money.
I would like to comment again on that, please. Thank you. We have a very small but mighty service department. And what they do is they constantly walk Coe Creek, which is the major water thoroughfare for Ward 5. They are constantly pulling out the debris that's down there, the trees, things that are actually thrown over by residents as well. It is constantly maintained by our small service department. And we just recently hired a company that cleaned the 227 culvert. So we are working very diligently to make sure that we address this problem correctly.
Thank you. And Mr. Deem, anything further?
No.
Thank you. Mr. Deem, this question is for you. The writer visited your website and didn't see anything in the issues section, and wanted to know what major issues, are there in your opinion, and what are your stances on them?
I am against Senate Bill 5. I do not support Senate Bill 5. I think that's a poorly designed, strong-arm effort to try to get something passed against public employees. I think, especially people that have dangerous jobs, I think they deserve to have fair treatment and rights to their wages. Schools, I'll be a big supporter of public schools. I'm a public school guy. I went to Parma Senior High School, graduated from there in 1972. I'll do everything I can to make the relationship with the school district as good as I can. Again, it's budget, economic development, CVCs, and sewers.
Thank you. And Ms. Patton?
The same question, or do you have a new question?
Do you want to respond to that question?
No.
Thank you. We have a question for you. Nursing homes are currently decreasing bed capacity and are tightening their belts because of significant decreases in reimbursement dollars. The question further states, why bring a nursing home to our city when this is happening?
Because we need one. We are the only community in the West Shore that does not have a nursing facility or assisted living facility for our seniors. It is one of the biggest requests that we have from them, and I think it's a very reliable, excellent business to bring in our community, especially where it's going to be located, in our central part of our town, by our churches, by our schools, across from our senior center, next to Willowwood Manor. It's the perfect location. It's going to be built by a very reliable, outstanding company, who, by the way, the owner was born and raised and went to Fairview High School here. So he's coming home. So we're very, very pleased to have a nursing home here.
Thank you. Mr. Deem, any comment?
I spoke with a gentleman by the name of Chuck Latta. He's a friend of my wife. He's a friend of my wife's friend. He's senior vice president for Sunrise Nursing. He was quite surprised when I said that we were building a nursing home in Fairview Park, because he said the West Shore area is already overbedded. Sunrise is actively trying to sell some of their nursing homes. I understand the need, the want, the desire for a nursing home. My mother-in-law just got accepted today to Jennings in Garfield Heights. I understand the want, the desire, but it's also it's a business. It's also competition. How much competition are we going to be fighting for? How viable will that be? How many beds will they fill if we're in competition with 10 other places just miles from us? Those are the things we have to look at also.
We also have to look at the fact that baby boomers are going to be seniors any minute now. So I think it's a wonderful business that we'll be bringing into our community.
Thank you. And Mr. Deem, how do you plan to bring businesses into Fairview Park without raising taxes or allow tax-exempt loopholes?
We want to partner with a community development corporation. It's a 501(c) in the tax code. Investors get tax breaks and incentives to invest money in businesses, upstart businesses in your community. All you have to do is go to Tremont, Ohio City. In fact, Mitchell's Ice Cream, they are moving to Ohio City. They are taking their plant and 35 employees from Rocky River into Ohio City because of a CDC. And by the way, that gentleman that runs that CDC in Ohio City is from Fairview Park.
Ms. Patton?
We're not Cam's Corner. Most of us were born and raised in Cam's Corner, and we moved across the bridge to Fairview Park because of the uniqueness that it brings. And right now in our community, as I said, we opened 165 businesses last year in the most devastating economy this country has ever seen. We also have a strong Chamber of Commerce, and most recently the Fairview Park Small Business Alliance Group has now been created, made up of small business owners right here in our community that I have worked with hand in hand. Stay tuned for this weekend, for the last weekend in October. The Fairview Shopping Center will be turned into a wonderful festivity due to this Small Business Alliance. And that's what we're doing here. We work together, we collaborate together, and we bring the businesses in. We've done that, 165 last year. Thank you.
Thank you. And Ms. Patton, this question is written for you. It has been documented that the school board has made approximately $2 million on its investment in Gemini. What has been the city's return on its investment in Gemini?
Healthy residents, a wonderful place to have everyone gather at. Over 6,000 residents have been there. We have $1 million surplus at the Gemini Center. Our revenue exceeds our expenses. It is a self-funded Gemini. We have a 0.5% income tax that is dedicated just to this Gemini. It can go to no other fund in the city of Fairview Park, and it is the gem of our community. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Deem?
When the city issued bonds from Gemini, the bonds are invested. The schools did the same thing. I think the schools, it's called, the interest that they gain on investing those bonds, I think it's called arbitrage. The schools apparently have invested their money very well. They're not going to have a school levy now until 2013. I don't know how the city invested that money on our end. That's one of the reasons why we want to have a full, complete audit of the books. But all I know, but the city is not seeming to have the same financial stability right now as the schools are.
Well, the schools and cities are funded completely different, Mr. Deem. That's probably why. We rely on revenue. We have $400,000 lead from NASA. The cities and schools can't be compared on the way that they do their funding. It's that simple.
Anything further on that issue? Okay. And Mr. Deem, do you currently have any pending litigation involving the city of Fairview Park? And if so, what is the status of that?
I have a pending lawsuit that's been going on for 4 years. I sued the city back in 2007, I think. I was demoted, and I thought my demotion was unjust. And basically, obviously, the administration thought they were in the right, which is perfectly fine. My option was to seek legal counsel, and we filed a lawsuit. That's been going on now for 4 years. The next hearing, I believe, is October 26th.
Okay, thank you.
May I answer that as well? A civil service hearing took place on Mr. Deem's lawsuit. The civil service is made up of residents of the city of Fairview Park who are lawyers. There was a 2 or 3 day hearing. The civil service ruled in favor of the city that we were doing the correct thing. The lawsuit, Mr. Deem then took the lawsuit to Common Pleas Court. It was heard there, and the courts ruled in favor of the city as well. It is now, Mr. Deem now has it in the Court of Appeals for a hearing on October the 26th.
Okay, thank you. And one other question. When the city council candidates were speaking, the topic of collaboration and regional type of agreements came up. Ms. Patton, could you address that, please, from your perspective?
Yes, I believe that the very important format for anyone in government is regionalization. We know it works. To echo some of the comments that were made earlier, it started right here in the city of Fairview Park on February 5th, 2005 when the Gemini Center passed. It was truly a joint collaboration between the city and the schools and hundreds of hardworking residents that put this together. When we moved out into the working with the other cities, the West Shore Dispatch Center, and I was chair of that, Mr. Jones, you were correct. We began 4 cities. It has been proven to be very, very successful. We're now moving into the fire study, which I think is going to have many merits for the residents of the city of Fairview Park down the road. We also belong to the First Ring Suburbs Consortium, and through that, our collaboration allowed us to get the Brownsfield grant, which removed the 5 blighted motels that were in the city of Fairview Park. Sharing of resources is the next wave of what's going to happen with municipalities. I will certainly sit down and investigate and research every single idea that comes, and if I feel it's a benefit to the city of Fairview Park, I will be the first one to take it to City Council and to the residents to promote it.
And Mr. Deem, your thoughts on collaboration and regionalism?
Regionalization should be also, it has to be sustainability. That's even more important than the regionalization part. Under Westcom, Westcom is a conglomerate of cities that have formed a central dispatch for fire. We've spent roughly, I'm going to be conservative here, I'm going to say about $600,000 on this over the last 5 years, I believe. Right now, as I speak, if a 911 call comes in, it still comes to our police department, who then sends it to Westcom, who then sends it back to our fire department. When I was and I dispatched 911 calls just this year, it used to be in the old days, we'd get the information, we'd ship it over. It's added a leg into regionalization. Regionalization, I'm watching the east side suburbs of Woodmere, Moreland Hills, I can't think of the other 2 right now.
Orange.
But they're careful, they're looking at the regionalization very carefully. They're talking about making one big city. So regionalization, it can be a minefield if you're not careful.
Okay, thank you. I'm sorry, I don't believe we have any further written questions. So What I'd like to do is ask Mr. Deem to begin and give us your 2-minute closing statement, please.
I'd just like to thank everybody for coming. I'd like to thank, again, the League of Women Voters for allowing me. I'm just going to be very brief. My yardstick for any decision that I make will be, is it good for Fairview Park? We aim to be proactive, not reactive, and we want to make this a destination and not have stagnation. Thanks very much.
Thank you, and Ms. Patton.
Thank you. Thank you to the League of Women Voters for hosting tonight's event. It has been an honor to serve you, the residents, for the past 12 years. This election is about continuing the progress that has taken place. In July, the Plain Dealer highlighted the success of Fairview Park with a statement reading, "Economic development is at the forefront of Fairview Park's future as they undergo a number of exciting developments that will lead them into the next decade and beyond." Together, working with our residents and City Council, we have created a destination place. Fairview Park has become a western suburb of choice, one we can all be proud of to call home. And I am pleased that this administration has a history of getting the job done. As the work of the past has set the tone for a bright future, and I ask for your continued support on November the 8th. Thank you.
Thank you both very much for your patience.